Today I'm taking you to the streets of Jeju Island, where I have discovered a new species of crashout, the Y ant. This thing was so much of a menace that it ran up record numbers on Crunchyroll, and now that he finally has a name, I can present him to you. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Beru, the Ant King crashout. Jeju Island. An island that puts fear into many because they got ants that are basically all crashouts. They don't do no talking or nothing. It is strictly on site. So much fear that they had to recruit S-rank hunters from Japan just to come and help them out. And this is where our story begins. Because after the Korean hunters get embarrassed by the Japanese hunters and Jinwoo basically sons Gooto, because who do you think he is challenging Jinwoo, we cut to Jeju Island. And these YN ants are literally eating each other because they done killed everything that they could get their hands on the island. And the queen is over there like,
we've eaten everything that we could, and now my children are eating each other. At this rate, these YNs gonna be out here trying to eat me. It's time, my king. It's time for you to rise.
And Beru came out the womb on timing. His roar alone fired off a Kamehameha into the air, and apparently nobody saw this happening. But Beru is also the first and only black ant. Does this mean we can make this a Black History moment? So the day of the raid finally comes, and it's looking hopeful. The Japanese hunters powering up like Saiyans to get all the ants to come out. They got the signal distracting all the ants, and all the Japanese hunters are out there slicing them up like light work. And they over there like,
God dang, one of them got me good.
You want me to heal you, big boy? I mean, it's gonna cost you. And this time, I'm not talking any money.
Girl, not while we on a mission. I told you after we got off the island.
I mean, I'm just saying, I just want that dick.
well, I guess my boy ain't getting no cheeks because Beru slices that girl head off, and this is the beginning of Beru's kill streak because he ain't dropping A rank or B rank hunters. Oh no sir, this thing only dropped S rank hunters, the hunters that are almost the strongest ones in the world, and he was over there dropping them like Future used to drop mixtapes, and he was lopping them heads off one by one. That man went from about to clap cheeks to getting his cheeks clapped. And then Mr. Two Swords over here thought he was about to run up and slice Beru's head off, and Beru had the man looking at his own body as his head fell to the ground. It was a bloodbath out here, and mind you, one of them just made one of the Korean S ranks look like a bum last episode, and now he on a shirt. And oh, we can't forget Iceman, cause he tried to freeze up the island just off of feeling Beru's murderous intent, like that was gonna be enough to stop this speeding ant of death. And Beru just stopped in front of the ice, stared into that man's soul, and then proceeded to lift that man's soul out of his body.
You're a fucking idiot.
So while the Japan S ranks are over there getting utterly mollywopped by Beru, the Korean hunters are in the nest taking out all of the ants, and they down here going all out. The president's pulling out all of their tricks. I didn't even know he could become a werewolf. And Cha is down there slicing through the ants like butter. I see why Jinwoo likes her. And when they get to the queen, all I gotta say is Cha is like that. Cause all these S ranks are out here attacking the ant queen, but Cha comes out there and pulls out the ultimate. She hit the queen with a dang octo slash and then proceeds to slice his head off to the ground with a noble phantasm. And just like that, the Jeju raid is successful. They done took out the ant queen, beat the ants, everybody is celebrating until the ants start to go crazy. And coming back to the nest was Beru. And the aura of this man alone was enough to make everybody stop in their tracks. This man literally tried to run up on Beru and saw himself dying as Beru was simply walking past him. And so as Beru walked past the hunters, he goes to the queen's head, and I'm thinking he's about to get angry off them killing the ant queen. But no, this thing starts eating the queen's head.
Oh my God.
And then what happens next can only be explained as, well, a massacre. Because you remember the music that played when Jinwoo took out them hunters in season 1 with no difficulty? We can go ahead and call that the reverse jumping theme. Because Beru pops over by Cha, and I kid you not, 1 second later, he turns her into a rag doll as he sends her flying into the wall. He had her spinning like a frisbee. The girl who just no-diffed the ant queen got no-diffed in a second. Ain't no way. And I'm gonna be real honest. She was the only one I could see standing up to Beru for a second, cause Beru flash steps behind Big Boy and he turns into a giant cause he think that's gonna work, only to get his shield and arm destroyed in a single punch, and then proceeds to rip that man's arm off after he tried to use his spear. But at least he put up some kind of a fight, because both of the presidents got smacked. That man couldn't even get off a spell before he was sitting there with blood spewing out of his chest. And then the bow boy. Oh, the bow boy tries to shoot him with an arrow, and I was watching this like, boy, you know you should have ran up out of there. What that bow gonna do after he just dropped Mustang's cooler brother? So Beru slaps the taste out the man's mouth and then starts winding up to do him like Eggers did Jinwoo in season 1. But then the giant comes out and saves him and does some of the dumbest stuff ever, because he tells Beru that they have a healer. Bro, the healer is hiding in camouflage, and you basically just told him, hey, after you kill me, I got another friend hiding over there. Okay, bye. And Min is over there thinking he's safe because he can just heal them. But then he watches Beru grab this big giant by his ankle with one arm and proceed to do this man how Hulk did Loki. Bruh, I don't know if you can heal him, cause he looked dead. And speaking of dead, right after he gets done mollywopping this giant, Beru turns Min into a donut, cause he could see through his camouflage just to bite his head off and take that man's voice.
He copied my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
And then right after that, Beru grabs Bake and is like,
Yeah, I just came over here to show your homeboy in here crying. Now tell me, where your king at, wolf boy? Oh nah, I sent some hands, some strong hands. I'll be right back. Try not to die.
and then he flash steps out and darts right over to Gooto. And you know, I love when Solo Leveling shows the edgy strong side character is weak, cause when Beru gets to Gooto, all he asks him is
you the king around here?
And as soon as Gooto says yes, Beru is standing over there like,
Oh, you are? Well, let me show you something. Yo, guy.
we can't do that in this show. And this is where Beru messed up, because you see, Jinwoo had a shadow on Gooto, and now that Beru killed Gooto, Jinwoo knows that things are going bad, and he uses Shadow Exchange and pops up on Jeju Island in his going to run errands fit. And if you've been watching this season, you know his shadows come in on timing, just wearing out every ant like they're fodder. But in the middle of them fighting all the ants, suddenly they just stop and they start bowing because Beru is back and he just took out Gooto. And now he thinks he can take on Big Woo. So Beru and Jinwoo walk up to each other and they have an aura off. And Beru is like,
You the king? You? Your feet? Whack. Your shadows? Whack. Your aura? Whack. Now
Get up out my face, peasant!
and then Beru proceeds to punch Jinwoo right in the face. And I don't think anyone in this cave knew who Jinwoo really was, because they sitting there thinking Jinwoo just got one shot. And the whole time, Jinwoo ate that punch for a snack. And remember how Beru was asking everybody who was the king? Well, Jinwoo grabbed Beru with ruler's authority, made that man bow before Drippy Woo himself, and then hit him so hard, Beru was over there posing out of disbelief. And Beru was leaned back for a minute.
You're a victim.
So Beru and Jinwoo start swinging at each other, cocking back and putting their back into each punch. But Jinwoo was hitting that man with haymakers, knocking Beru back. Loki had Beru rethinking his life choices. And so Jinwoo hits Beru with another haymaker, but this time Beru pulls out his poison dagger tongue, you heard me right, and slices Jinwoo on the face. And the poison makes Jinwoo fall to his knees. And Beru starts walking up like,
everybody talking like Beru ain't this, Beru ain't that. Beru can't beat Jinwoo. But look at you, on your knees bowing before your king.
Now die.
Detox complete.
huh? And after Jinwoo sends Beru flying, he has had it with Jinwoo. He can't beat the man's aura, he can't beat that man's strength, so he says he's going to use his speed and starts to transform.
Human, I don't care about your aura. I don't care about your drip or your cheating system.
I am the king, and you will bow.
So they start fighting, and I gotta give it to Beru. He was pushing Jinwoo back a little bit. He haki had him on the ropes, but Jinwoo is just as fast as Beru, and they was out there scrapping. They even had Bake over there shook. Yeah, buddy, You can't hang with them. So as they over there having an anime fight of the year, Benwoo pins Jinwoo down and is about to get him, and Beru is like,
Now, like I said before, bow before your king.
New skill acquired. You can now use mutilation.
I know damn well you ain't just.
and then Jinwoo slices that man up and Beru starts running for his life. But Jinwoo was not having it. He chased that man down and then sliced Beru up so bad that he was over there squirming and missing his arms and legs. The dude was just a head and a torso. So as a last ditch, Beru orders the ants to jump Jinwoo. But here's the thing, you don't jump Jinwoo. Jinwoo jumps you. And they wipe out all the ants to the point that Beru is crying and starts running again. But it's already too late. And before Beru knew it, he was on the ground facing Jinwoo. And as he's trying to crawl away, Jinwoo dashes at him and slices him into pieces until the life leaves his body. And that was the death of Beru. Just to turn around and get added to Jinwoo's Shadow Army as his #1 crashout. And yeah, I think we can go ahead and call him the strongest shadow for now. But anyway, sub if you're new, and if you really want to support, become a channel member. And until next time, stay swiggy, baby.